Hey there, everyone. It's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Beat, Do Leadership. And it's part 4 of how quiet leaders and introvert business owners create high-performing teams. So we've been doing this since Thursday. So we did Thursday, Friday. If you've missed the others, please go back and have a look and you can catch up. But we're just going to recap anyway. So today what we're looking at is what I call the team performance engine. So if you are a quiet leader or a more introvert business owner, and even if you're not, it might be useful because you may have some of those people in your team. So if you are, what we're talking about is how do you create team performance if you are not feeling like, the biggest extrovert out there, and you're not necessarily feeling like a people person, and you might even feel a bit like an imposter as a leader, but actually you don't need to, because you can create team performance. And that's really the job, isn't it? Is it not the job of the leader? It's not about us as leader. It's about the performance that we can create through our team. So leveraging our ability to teach and show and to bring people together, which we're going to show in a minute, to create a better performing team. That's our job, if ever there was one. So let's share the screen. If I can get my mouse to work. Okay, so we're going to share the screen. And we're going to bring up the team performance engine, and we're gonna just recap because I know some of you weren't here over the last couple of days. So let's start with this. So this is you'll see a triangle and a circle. And what we're saying in the middle is that if the triangle is what you want to create, team performance, let's say, and what we said on Thursday was there are 3 things that stop us from creating that team performance. The 3 things that actually happen, even though we wish they didn't. And first of all, that is that people can't do it. They don't do it because they can't do it. Okay. And that means that they don't have the skill or the confidence to do that. And you're frustrated because they just don't seem to be able to do it. Then there is this one, which we talked about on Friday, which was, well, they just don't do it. So they can, they've got the skill, but they don't do it. And it's more than frustrating, I know, because then what you're thinking is, well, I know they can do it. So why won't they just get on with it? I don't know about you, but I've been there myself. Why don't they just get on with it? And you'll probably find here that they can, but they seem to do their own thing. And then what we said is there is another one, which is, well, sometimes they just won't do it. And what I mean by that, which is different from don't do, is that they won't do it because they don't want to do it. So don't do, we'll look at what's causing that. But this one is won't do. Okay. And what we find is very quickly is that if it's a matter of can't do, then we as leaders need to enable them. If it's a matter of don't do, we need to get them to do that, and we need to excite them. And if it's a matter of won't do, that's a different problem altogether. And that's a very serious problem because we need to engage our teams in us and the rest of the team, but particularly in us. And there is a huge problem if you haven't got that. And that's about choosing to do something that you want them to do. And so in order to achieve that, we said last week that, well, if you want them enabled, then they need the confidence to be able to do it. So that's a go from can't do to can do. They have that confidence. From don't do, well, they need to be excited and have direction and know where it is that you want them to go, because we can't follow anybody if we don't know where they're going, because we're not that silly, are we? So we might have a better idea. Unless somebody's going to tell us how cool their idea is, then we may have a better one. And then last but not least, engaged. What we said was that we need to build trust. We need people to feel needed, wanted, understood, trusted themselves, and we need to trust them. So that's what we did. And we went on ahead and broke that down to building confidence in enabling people to get a can do. We need pure capability, pure skill, but we also need, as leaders, to grow autonomy in our team. So rather than us dictating and telling everybody what to do all the time, we need to create autonomy in our teams. And we talked about how to do that. And then that third one there, we create clarity, because we need to know specifically what is it that you want us to do so that we can actually perform that, whether it be a widget or a chocolate cake. We went over here and said that if it's direction, then we need to know where we want to go ourselves. We need to know what we stand for and what we believe in, because we need to link that in the big why. Why on earth should I do this? And when you're clear on why you should do it, then the next part around creating this mission is about linking that to why should they do it. Because the people will only do something if they believe in the cause or they believe in the reason why. It's like when you're a kid. Okay. So then we said, well, the other thing is that it's all very well believing in the cause, but we have to show up in the mindset of a leader because we have to want to leverage. Okay. And so our mindset is very important on this side as well, around giving people direction and showing up like a leader. So what we didn't do was this last part. And here we are trying to create engaged, trusted and trusting teams. So let's have a look at the 3 elements as we break it down today on, well, how do you actually do that? Well, the first piece, massively important, is this. We need to create a connection with people because last time I looked, we're all humans, more or less, apart from the dogs that come in and all those sorts of things, bring a pet to work, but we're all human. And the thing is that we're not robots. We don't come just being able to perform our task without any emotion. As much as people say, oh, I don't bring my home life to work, or I don't do, I don't talk about that sort of stuff. It doesn't mean we don't bring it. It doesn't mean we don't feel, and it doesn't mean we aren't human. So what we as leaders need to understand, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Hang on. I'm a serial tea maker, not a serial tea drinker. Always go cold. So what we're saying here is that we need to understand what motivates that person as an individual. We need to understand what turns them on, turns them off. We need to understand what puts them in flow, what makes them want to be around you and the team. Because when you do that, then they feel understood, they feel heard, they feel wanted, they feel part of something. And when you do that, that's when that connection and that trust and that engagement grows massively. And then, as I said, it turns from a won't do to a will do. I want to. Yeah, I won't do, but I want to now. And therein lies the difference. So this is about engaging with you and the rest of the team. So on the top side, that's about engaging with the direction, the vision that you're trying to create. Okay, very different. Okie doke. It's not the end though. Here, we have to look at, and I'm going to put these 2 things together on the screen because they're slightly different, but sometimes people get them confused. We need to look at the impact and influence that you have. Okay, so impact is all about what happens when you show up in the room. And I don't know about you, but I've seen so many people showing up without even knowing how they're showing up. They're totally unconscious about what they do. So they just turn up and they maybe say, I am who I am. And it isn't always a pretty sight. And the problem is, if that's you for one reason or another, then what that does is it breaks that trust. It doesn't create those engaged people. It makes people think, I don't know what I'm going to get when I'm talking to Bob. I don't know how he's going to react, or she's going to. Bob's not going to be, well, could be Roberta, how she's going to react. And therefore people are guarded. They don't trust you. And what that means when they don't trust you is that they don't take risks. They don't put themselves out there because they don't know how you're going to behave. They don't know how you're going to show up. Does that make sense? If it does, if you're watching this live, feel free to put a comment in. And if you're watching it on replay, then just type replay in, but put your comment in anyway, because I will come back and have a look. Because it's important. If you agree with me, great, tell me that. If you don't agree with me, fine, put that in as well. That's always really useful. So if you've ever been in a position where you don't trust and you're not sure how your boss is going to turn up, you'll know what I'm talking about here. You don't know how they're going to show up. You don't know how they're going to behave. Are they going to be mood hoover today? Are they going to be happy? Are they going to be getting on your back about something? And if you don't know what that's going to be like, then it's really hard to give your best work. So how can you as the leader expect your team to give the best work if you are not conscious of the impact that you're having on people? Okay, I'm not talking about just being their best friend all the time and being nice all the time. I'm talking about being conscious of that impact and making sure it is as you want it to be. Okay, now the last one, this influence, is about how do you get your point across? How do you show up in terms of the way in which that you're speaking and communicating? Do you speak up when you should? So the influence that you're having, bringing out your opinions, telling people how you feel, and really showing up with honest, I love this phrase, radical candor. And I can't think of the lady's name who Apologies to you, lovely lady who invented that. I can't remember your name. But radical candor is all about like, I'm going to say what needs to be said, but I'm going to say it in a way that is kind and careful and conscious. But it means that I'm not going to avoid conflict. I'm not going to let things ride. I'm going to deal with this. And that's super, super important. Okay, because if you do that, then the people who you are talking to and the person who you need to deal with, or the person who you need to get your point across to, is going to be influenced by what you say and is going to be positively influenced by what you say. But those other people around you are watching. This is the one thing I think is so important, is that people are watching. And when they're watching what you do with other people, because they want to see if you really truly mean it and are you going to step up. So this influence is all about, how do I step up? Okay, so if we get connection, we create that connection, we start to have a positive impact, and then we influence people. We are showing up in a way that puts our point of view, that doesn't ignore things, that deals with issues and shows the team that you will do that. Then what that means is you get a very, very engaged, trusting team. And that's the final part of the puzzle, because then you've got not can't do, won't do, don't do. You've got can do, want to, and do. And what that means is it creates that team performance, because people, they know where you're going, they want to come with you personally, and they have the confidence and the capability to do that. So you have excited them, you've engaged them, and you've enabled them. You've given them direction, trust, and confidence to go ahead and, as I say all the time, make good decisions. Because when people can make good decisions and they trust in themselves and they trust you to step up and back them up, that's the word I was looking for. If they know that, then they will go to the ends of the earth to make things happen for you in your business. Does that make sense? So if that has been useful to you, then there's two things you can do. One, join the Quiet Leaders with Impact Facebook group. And it keeps scrolling along the bottom there. So you really should on that basis. So it should be in the comments, but I'll pop it in again. There you go. And the other thing, if you would like to find out how to actually go ahead and implement each of these 9 accelerators, then you can find out about how you can work with us. And what we're looking for are quiet leaders and introvert business owners who want to grow their impact so that their team performance grows. If that's you and you are friendly and coachable and you would like to find out more, then I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you can't see the original one, because I think maybe it doesn't show you. There you go. There. Okay. But it's in the chat. So if you would like to find out more, that is a page where you've got some more information about how you can join the Quiet Leaders Launchpad and find out how to actually go ahead and implement these tools and techniques. And the whole point is it doesn't matter where you are. It matters what you actually apply. So we can sit here and look at this diagram all day, but if you don't actually apply it, it's really not worth anything. Okay. So I'm Julie Hutchison. I'm from Think Be Do. This is the Team Performance Engine. And if you would like to know how to implement this in your business, then come along, give me a shout. If you don't want to do any of those other things, just message me and let's have a conversation. Okay? Have a lovely, lovely Tuesday afternoon in this lovely warm sun. Have a great day. Bye-bye.